Yes. Yes.
Jordan, will you give a thumbs up if you can hear me?
Can you hear me, Jordan? Jordan, can you hear me?
Yes, I mean, so.
Well, yes, the, emergency was, that he does be here, not on this way. I like to introduce our teacher tonight, Senator Kennedy. He's a long, long, hours and hours, days and months of meditation practice. He- Anyway, how are y'all? We're described with Brendan, appreciating him now. He had a thriving business, he worked through his probably his forties, and then he said, at this, and he moved to India, and he learned to meditate, and he just gave it all up, and thank you, Dr. Paul, he studied with the finest veteran teachers in the 1980s, who were available. He studied with the Dr. Ron, studied with Ron Yeshe, Peter Kinsey, and Chuck Robert. He's okay. And he came back to United States, and since then he has been meditating in solo retreat and coming out every once in a while. He just, with this kind of example, we strive to pay attention because he really has some things to share that he's found about our mind and who we really are. And with that, I think I'll turn it over. Hi. Everybody knows what the eye is, right? Yeah. Everybody knows what the eye is, right? Anybody think that what the eye is?
This might.
Where's the eye?
Who did that?
Where was the eye? When that sound was so intense, where was the eye? I was totally lost in the sound. Was it not for most of you? So, we're going to explore together what the eye is. Because in a way, that's basically what we are. So in a way, we are the eye. So I want you to just sit for a moment. Because most probably, most of you have not done this before, I'm assuming. So how many of us have really just tried to be the eye and see what that is? Have you really? So you can tell me later. But I want newer people to see what they can find out about the eye. We feel the eye, we experience the eye. But do we really know what it is? Are you familiar with the eye? So for newer people, what does it feel like when we try to start to be the eye? And not what the eye is being. Because most of the time, the eye is lost in what it is being, what it is seeing, feeling, and experiencing. That's why we're lost. So I want you to see what it's like for the eye to just start to be the eye and see what that eye is. Don't think about it in terms of correct answer and incorrect answer. I just want you to go through the experience. See how you're experiencing what's happening. See, there's no expectation on you. Just want you to start to be clear what you're experiencing. So some of you who haven't done this before, what are you experiencing when you start to just try to be the I? What's happening? Just tell me what's happening. What are you experiencing? Are you clear or not clear? Or maybe you're not experiencing anything whatsoever. That's why you're not telling me anything. Huh?
If you'd like to use this as our interim microphone, because we can't use the AV system. So do you mind?
He said it feels empty.
Perfect.
What you said?
Feels empty.
Feel what?
She said that it feels empty.
Great. No, don't laugh. You're correct. You feel that, but you're still not clear. That's the problem. See, you're intuitively, globally, not so clearly beginning to feel what that I is when it's not anything. So that's a great insight. But we're so used to being clear and not clear, being something or not anything. That's why it may have appeared to us, oh, that's not a big deal, I mean, you preconceptually think, that's not the answer. But it was. That's the insight we want to have. Start to feel that when we're just the I, not anything. Not anything. But still is, right? You still experience it, right? So that's the important part. But when we're just the I, we're not lost. We're stuck in what the I is being as it normally is. You see that? Normally, the I is going from one thing to another, from one thing that is experiencing, seeing, to another. Isn't that how it is? We go from not only visually, but thought-wise. One thought, another thought, one feeling, another feeling, constantly jumps. So what would it be like if we could just be the eye just not moving around, but it could just be without being lost or stuck in anything? That's why we're not free. Because the eye is so attracted to everything that it is seeing, feeling, and experiencing. It goes out towards and totally forgets about itself. That's what happens to most of us. So let's see if we can start to be the eye without being anything or something as it usually is. Again, do that. See how that feels. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Online? Okay, just do it. Let's just do it. Just be the eye. We feel the eye. We're experiencing the eye. But the eye is not stuck or lost in anything or something as it usually is. So it's probably still not clear, right? Because we're so used to the eye being something. So when the eye is not being anything, of course it's not going to be clear. You're not clear, but you're still aware. You're not lost. We're not clear what's going on, but we're still clear that we're not clear. This is how we can start to be free. The eye just simply not being lost or stuck or being anything or something as it usually is. So this is the irony. When the eye is clear in terms of when it's what is seeing, feeling, and experiencing what it is experiencing, if it's clear of that, if it's clear of the object, that means the eye is not clear. But we think the eye is clear. That's how we perceive it. What we think is clear, not clear, is dependent on something. You see that? If it's not something or anything, you're not clear. But there's still clarity. As I said before, you're clear that you're not clear. But most of us are really not familiar with that clarity. We don't need to get into that too much right now. What I want you to experience is how you can start to be free. By I not being lost or stuck in something or anything, as it usually is. Notice this is how we function most of the time. Then we just unconsciously accept that this is the way it is. Well, everybody is like that, this is the way the world is. How could it be wrong? My proof is 99% of the people are not totally awakened or enlightened. Here's your proof. But forget about totally being enlightened. Just be concerned about how can I start to suffer less. How can I start to be free? Can you start to see that? If the I is not stuck or something, in something, then he can start to be free. But if he's stuck in something which you're seeing, feeling, and experiencing, it is not free. On this level, can you equate the I with the mind or awareness, okay? But most of us are most familiar with the I because that's what we are. I don't like this, I like this. I am this, I am that. Oh, I see. Okay, now become familiar or get used to being the I. Okay? Everybody experiences the I, right? Yes or no? Okay? We're experiencing this I now. What I want you to do is just be this I. Not what the I is being, not what the I is seeing, feeling, and experiencing. Just start to be this I that you're experiencing, that you found through your own experience. And also notice this I is not something or anything, but we have this experience, we have this thought, conditioned thought that I is something. That's how we perceive the I. But when we start to really look at the I, you start to see that it's not anything. But we're just working with the I right now through our own experience and feeling. Because we can experience this I. And this I is like a thought right now. I just want you to hold that, the I thought. Just be that I thought. So when you just start to be this I thought, or the I, isn't it being just the I? Without the I being something or anything as it usually is? Can you begin to experience that? Can you begin to see that? That's the practice. When we can start to do that, start to become established in that, start to be clear of that, you can automatically start to be free. Being free does not mean separating what we're seeing, feeling, and experiencing. We become free by just simply not getting lost, not going out towards. When we're just the I, notice we can still see, feel, and experience, and still be the I. So that's the practice. So learn or get used to how to be this I without being something or anything. You can also do the same practice with mind or awareness. So what does it feel like? We're being this I, but the I is not being. We're lost. We're stuck. We're becoming what it is being. I is just being. It's being what it's being without being lost in what it is being. All right, let's take a break for a moment. So, what are you experiencing? What are you getting? You're not getting anything, or you're not experiencing anything. You must be getting something. Online people,
So for myself, I can't not experience that energy. It's the awareness.
yeah,
Just
the I.
yeah. And it's only once I start to attach and have aversion, that's what starts to confuse the true state.
Right.
For me personally.
It's the I. Don't forget, it's the I that gets us into trouble. And you know, Eckhart Tolle equates the I with the ego. But this I can actually free you, or it can bind you. When the I starts to be not anything, or something, oh, it's being what it is being, then it becomes free from what it is being. But if it gets stuck where normally is, where we are, when we see, when the eye sees, then of course it limits. Simple practice. Just I. Is there so many things to remember? So many things to figure out? Online, yeah, so online people on Zoom. Do you see the difference? How do you see the difference? How do you feel the difference? See, that's part of the practice. We may start to experience and feel, but if we don't stop and start to clarify that, that you're not getting deeper into the practice. This is how we go deeper. This is how we begin to really clarify. Yeah, Aurelia?
So what I'm noticing is that when the eye, it's sort of your focus and non-focus practice, when the eye starts paying attention to the sensation, the sound, the whatever, then it's lost. But
Right.
when I'm just allowing myself to be, then the sensations, the sounds, the whatever is all sort of like all together, but I'm not any one of those things, but there's something else. There's something else that seems to be like space, like openness, like, like aware of everything, but not anything.
Yeah, as I said, it can be the awareness or the mind or the eye. Eye, not as anything, is not any different than mind or awareness, not as
Right,
anything.
right.
But
So
there's a way of doing it, it's more
uh-huh.
accessible. We understand I much more from most people than mind and awareness.
Yes, so when the eye starts moving towards something, a sound, a feeling, or whatever, then that's when it's lost in the thing. When
Right.
it's just staying and being, then all
When
the
it,
perceptions come and go, but you don't become or you don't go with it. Kind of.
right, exactly. So when the eye goes out towards what is being, then what it is being becomes something,
Right. Yeah.
becomes that thing that is separate or different from I, or mind, or awareness.
Mhm.
See that? It's the thing.
So when it's not going out to anything, it feels more restful. It feels more
Of course,
like a
you can do it.
staying free. Mm.
Yeah, nothing, nothing can harm you. That's all you have to do.
Thank you.
So if you see somebody that you can't stand, just start to be the eye, then you don't have to go and kill them. That's just literal. But it's amazing when we can just start to be the eye, all the stuff that comes with it, all the natural quality of mind and awareness that comes with it, that we value, that we want. Yeah, Carol,
She's muted. Tell her to unmute herself. She's muted.
who's muted?
Carol.
Carol, you're muted. You're muted.
I got it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry, Brendan. Welcome to Denver. When you were talking about the difference between awareness and the eye going out everywhere, I started to feel when I was a kid, we had merry-go-rounds. And to me, it feels like the difference between being always on the merry-go-round, and there's a certain feeling physically that I pick up from that, and then getting off the merry-go-round and just being observing and not being caught up, in that spin dry effect.
Right.
That's how I felt.
All right, something like that. Good, thank you. But don't forget, Carol, we can be on the merry-go-round, going round and round. We don't have to get off the merry-go-round. We can be in the merry-go-round and just be the eye. That's all you have to do.
Cool. Thank you.
It's another way of saying it is we don't have to stop seeing what we're seeing
Oh, yeah.
for us to be not lost in what we're seeing. All we have to do is just remain as the eye. Don't forget the eye. Just be the eye. So right now, we can clarify this. Just be the eye and nothing else, okay? Just being the eye, does that prevent you from seeing what you're seeing? Exactly. We can just be the eye. We can see everything that we're seeing. The only difference is what we're seeing does not become something or anything that is separate or different from the eye. So there's your proof. So if you can see, if you can be the eye while you're seeing, that doesn't stop the seeing. We can still see everything. The only difference is we're not lost in what we're seeing if we are the eye. So let's just keep on practicing this. See if we can start to get the experience. So I don't need to keep on talking and explaining. I've already explained. What you need to do is start to be that and start to get the experience. That's where the real value is. Whatever you have understood, just start to practice that. See if you can get the experience. So just simply be this I, without being anything or something, without it going out towards what it is being as it normally does. All right. So let me ask you, first of all, who doesn't understand what I'm saying? That's the first question. So everybody understands what I'm saying? Yes or no? You? Yes or no? Huh? Yeah, please respond, you know. I mean, this is, as I like to say, this is a Socratic method. Now, next question is, you understand? Are you starting to experience something? Are you starting to experience what I'm saying? Yes or no? Yes? Yes? In the back?
Can't say that I'm experiencing, but I do understand.
So that means you got your money's worth. So everybody wants to be free. Everybody likes to be free, right? Especially the politicians. This is the way you can start to really be free. not dependent on anybody or any party. But just simply starting to be the I, what you are. Most of us perceive ourselves to be the I, right? Yes, Judy.
But the tricky part for me, Brandon, is that I want to be free.
I want,
I want to be free. There's the I that wants to be free.
yeah, because that's his nature. That's its nature. You know, every being wants to be free. See, it's very tricky. One eye wants to be free, and there's the other eye who doesn't want to be free. So by doing this practice, we're taking the power away from the one who doesn't want to be free. One who's trying to prevent you from, from doing this practice. So we associate I with the ego, but it doesn't. See, I'm trying to totally change that. When the I is just the I, it's no longer the ego. When the I is not anything without an object, it's no longer the ego. When the I is something, when it's lost in what is being, then it becomes the ego. It is said that in order for the ego to survive, it needs food. It needs to be this or that. It needs to be something. So you starve the ego to death by being the I without being anything. And there's no violence here. It just depends on how much you connect, understand with this practice, and how much time you're willing to spend. I mean, it's just a matter of doing the practice. You start to do the practice, you can start to feel the freedom. Wow. That you can't get anywhere other than through your own practice and somebody to give you the instruction, help you to do it. Deep down inside, this is what we really want. But we have this egoic eye that's working against it. by doing this practice, it helps to have a lot of other supportive practices, like what's known as the preliminary practices, definitely. Because that supports this. It clarifies the reason for you doing this practice. Since we're here, I don't really have much more to say, but we can practice. Okay? You have to entertain yourself. I'm not no longer going to entertain you. Just experientially find the I and just start to be that. That's all you have to do. Just remain as the I. You don't have to go out towards that noise. Okay? While you're hearing the noise, just remain as the I. So when you remain as the I, that noise is no longer the problem. Just start to be the I, whichever way you can, without it being something or anything. So notice how that noise can be a support for this practice. If you just remained as the I. That's how this practice can be more effective and more powerful. So those of you who are beginning, it's good to take a break. Don't try to extend this out for a long time. Okay? Practice in short sessions. Keep it fresh. If you try to prolong it, it becomes ineffective. You're working against yourself. That's what many of the practices, not only this practice. So just take a break without being distracted. Can you take a break without being distracted or being lost in anything, you know? Then just slowly go back into the practice. So don't think in terms of whether this practice is for beginners or whether it's for advanced people. It just simply depends on where you're at and how much you can get out of it. because of our karmic habit and conditioning, things automatically want to take you away from being the I. So how we can counteract that is just increase the attention on the I. So as I said in the beginning, no problem being the I as something or a thought. That's how we start out. As we keep on doing the practice, when the I can start to be more just the I, then the I automatically starts to become not a thought, not anything. As it did in the beginning. Through your own practice, you will find your own way to clarify and make adjustments to help you to progress. But the secret is we have to do the practice. So I hope for the new people, this wasn't too difficult for you. Wonderful. All right, if there are any comments or reactions, criticisms, yeah, go ahead, whoever.
Yeah, I think I was getting a little bit confused with the eye, and throughout, as you were talking and we were practicing, if I switched awareness or mind, it made it a little bit easier because I'm not used to
Great,
referring it.
yeah, yeah, exactly, there's no difference. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, what's the difference between empty mind, empty awareness, and empty eye? Just take a moment and see if there is any difference. If there is, please tell me. Other than the label,
For me, every time I hear I,
huh?
every time I hear I, my ego tries to hold on to it and make it into a thing. And then it's kind of, just kind of roll back.
Right, right. That's how we start to weaken the ego. You know, that's how we do it. It takes more than once, twice, a thousand. But you have the important thing is you have a way to do it. That's the important part. You're beginning to experience that. That's the proof.
Yes, and it's funny as you start removing the themes, whether the emotions or the agenda, and slowly it's starting to drop those. You're not limiting yourself, you're actually expanding yourself.
You know, as I always say, don't go out into the battlefield if you haven't trained. Okay? Really. But there's a different kind of battlefield. There's the quiet battlefield, and there's the outer battlefield the situations that we get into. But when we do the practice, we're dealing with the inner battlefields. Yeah?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And which is easier to deal with the inner battlefield than the outer battlefield. Yeah.
The way I understand it a little bit is from your teaching, that if I say goodbye to I can be free.
You can what?
If I say goodbye to I can be free.
Yeah, exactly. No different. Yeah. Yeah, you know, the difference is we all have karmic predispositions. We have certain predilections. So our job is find the way that works best for us. That's why the same instruction is given in many different ways. So I thought the eye would be more accessible for newer people. Yeah, so when I began, I automatically thought that the eye is different from awareness and mind. But it's not. In the way you find the practice, where you clarify the practice, it's not. So I paid that dog to make the noise, but he's doing it overtime. He doesn't have to do it anymore.
Should I go lay him off?
No. All right. We're just in here. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, whether you like it or not, we're connected. All right. You're free.
Finally.